Welcome, travelers, to PA's Nightmare Wednesdays. As always, welcome to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant in my realm. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable, for when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
It was the summer of 1987, and I was 17 years of age when this experience occurred. I lived at my aunt's house and decided I was going to go visit my sister. We both lived in the same city that summer. My sister at the time was married and had 2 small children, and she and her family lived in a house with an attached farm to it. The best way I could describe this house is like an old-fashioned redwood farmhouse, and though it was in the city, it was surrounded by trees, and in the back were a couple of old shacks and chicken coops, but it didn't have any chickens. Although my sister had a front door, they always preferred everyone to use the side door. As you walked in, immediately to the right was a door that led to a long, narrow, dark, and creepy closet, and just inside the doorway and to the right was a bathroom. And towards the end of the closet was another door that led into a barn. The side door opened to the kitchen, and immediately there was a dining room. And if you walked there, to your right, a big old living room, and then another right would be a bedroom and another bathroom. Just walking into that place gave me the creeps. I didn't know why at the time. My sister never really told me anything about the history of the house. I don't know if she didn't know, or just thought nothing of it and didn't mention it to me. Well, like I said, on this particular day, I went to go visit her. While she was doing her laundry, I decided I would go explore because I was getting bored. Little did I know at the time, my boredom and curiosity could never have prepared me for what I was about to see, and it would leave an image in my mind that I would never forget. Anyway, after using the restroom, I walked down the long, dark closet to the door that led me outside into the barn, and for some reason, as I approached that door, I went to open it, and it just froze. Something told me not to open that door. I didn't listen to my gut feeling. As I opened the door, you had to step down 2 steps. I did this. I turned for whatever reason. I looked up into the loft, and there was a guy up there with a rope in his hand. It was almost like he was staring right into my soul, even though I knew it wasn't me he was looking at. But either way, I just stood there frozen, unable to say anything. I watched as the guy put the rope around his neck, and then he jumped. I heard the rope tighten, and the sickening snap of his neck as I tried to scream, but nothing came out. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it was going to explode. I don't remember how long I was there watching the ghost swing. So this happened roughly 3 years ago. I had just got off work. It was around 12 a.m., give or take. I was actually on a Discord call with some of my friends. As I was driving home, I realized there was a human-shaped shadow keeping pace with my car. I told my friends in Discord what I was seeing, and they said that was not good. I continued to drive, and this thing is still behind me. Finally, a tractor and trailer came up, hitting whatever the shadow thing was with its high beams. It immediately dissipated. I finished my drive home in peace. And by the time I had gotten home, I had forgotten all about the experience. Getting out of my car, I had stuff in the back seat that I needed to get out. As I was getting my stuff ready to carry inside, I heard something whisper my name right into my ear. Not only that, I felt the warmth of its breath on the back of my neck. As this occurred, I of course noped the fuck out of there. I ran to my front porch, tripping over my feet in a panic while trying not to fall flat on my face, all at the same time. Yes, I know this all sounds incredibly funny, but understand, I live on a haunted property near Gettysburg, and seeing spirits has become a more of a normal occurrence for me. This thing felt extremely different. I felt dread engulf me. I knew I was in danger, so after getting to my front porch, I turned around to see a dark shadow still standing by my car. Car doors open, items left on the driveway. I told my sister what happened, and she poked fun at me, but came out with me to get my stuff eventually. I got inside and relaxed, I thought I was safe, but the night brought the worst of it. So everything was normal until I went to bed. Once I fell asleep, I was plagued with horrible nightmares. Well, really it was just one nightmare, but it kept repeating on a loop. There was a pale woman on all fours beside my bed. I knew I was in danger, so I grabbed the nearest sharp object, which happened to be a number 2 pencil, and then stabbed her through her hand. She did not bleed and leapt to the wall, where she hung there like she was fucking Spider-Man. Now, let me say this. I have and am not scared of much. However, I do subscribe to the if it bleeds, it can die mentality. So this thing not bleeding scared the living hell out of me. After stabbing it, I woke up and noticed a shadow by the side of my bed. I've had sleep paralysis before, twice in fact. I have never once felt like my life was in danger until this time. This time, upon waking up, I felt like I was in fact in a fight for my life and my soul. I forced myself out of the sleep paralysis, as I had the 2 times before. This time, however, I immediately went for my mom's Bible that I have kept by my bedside since she passed away. And let me tell you, I opened that book up to Psalms, and I read from 3 a.m. till roughly 6 or 7 in the morning. When the sun finally rose high enough that I felt safe, I went and got a little bit more sleep. Now, I have not seen the demon in my house since then, but I have seen it outside of my house on several occurrences, but it is not able to come back inside my house. I asked my pastor about this. He said I encountered a demon, and by fighting back and using my faith as my armor, in the fight I had cleansed my house and made it a place where that thing could not enter again. This is one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me, and I'd prefer never to deal with that kind of entity again. I miss my mom dearly, but I truly feel that night, my faith and her Bible saved my life. I grew up in a house that was not haunted. Well, it wasn't when we moved in. It is also no longer haunted either. Now that I've confused you, I'll explain as I go. Now first, let me explain this house so you can better understand the layout. When you walked into the front door, to your left was the living room, and to your right was a closet, and behind that was my room. That was a den that was used as my bedroom due to unforeseen circumstances. Making from the front door 20 feet to the kitchen, and from my bedroom 10 feet to the kitchen. The stairs to the upstairs was to the right. In between my room and the kitchen, there was a dining room to the left of the kitchen that had patio doors, and to the right of the kitchen was a family room with patio doors as well. All of this is important in the end. This house had almost nothing done to it when they bought it. We were the third owners, but it was only 2 years old. So this first story, we had one deck built out to the patio doors, in the family room and above the ground pool. I need to start within the summer of 2000. One of my sisters killed herself. I want it to be said, if you ever feel this, please reach out to someone. No one will be happier with you gone. So she had a son, and he came to live with my parents. Me and my nephew were playing in the pool, laughing and having fun. We had a window on the patio door opened, and we could hear clear as day someone opening and closing the kitchen cabinets. Now I was 13 and my nephew was 6. We both were scared someone had come into our house. We never locked the front door. After much time, I got the courage to head inside. No one was there. Everything was where it belonged. Now, I would probably write this off if what happened next didn't. A while later, I was on the deck, on my phone when I looked over at the patio door from the dining room. There was my sister, standing there staring at me. I freaked the hell out. I don't 100% remember what I did, but I got into the house and no one was there. I saw her one more time, the same way a few months later, this time waving for me to come to her. I found out later, her ashes were in the dining room, right next to the door. I didn't know that at the time, and I never felt comfortable being in the dining room. Though my room easily could see into the dining room, I refused to look. I never saw her again, but I felt her a few more times. My eldest sister saw her a few times, but those are not my stories to tell. Please understand, my sister was not and is not tied to that house. She is tied to my nephew, and their family. The next ghost I saw when I was 15. I had been talking to my boyfriend at the time about ghosts, so I get that my mind could be playing tricks with me. I went to go use the washroom, and the second I touched the doorknob, I had a flash of a man. He was hanging from his neck. His eyes were empty. He had died sometime recently. I refused to leave my room and wouldn't leave. He was hovering around me until I told him, "It's okay. You're okay." It seemed to help him leave me alone. After this, I sealed my room with my will. Did I know I could do that? No. Am I happy I did? Yes. Because the last one is the one that makes me shake in fear. You might be asking yourself how a random guy got in, because I didn't know him. This home had no threshold to seal it. When you walk into a house and it feels like home, that's a threshold. We didn't have it. I don't know why. I have theories, but I never knew why. The last one scares me badly to this day, and I can't explain why. I was in my late teens. I think 17 when it happened. One night I was in my room on my bed with my cat Sammy. I was watching TV as I heard footsteps. I felt confused because everyone else was upstairs asleep. My cat got to the edge of the bed and stared at the door as the footsteps that I now recognize as high heels moved from my bedroom to the kitchen and then back, always stopping on my door. It would stand there for a moment, then pace yet again. A feeling of fear hit me. My cat never stopped looking at the door as these steps kept pacing for about an hour. The next night, I had pushed them out of my mind till late at night again. I heard footsteps. This time, there were 2 sets, dress shoes and high heels. Again, my first thought was my parents, but they were upstairs sleeping, and so was everyone else. My cat looked at the door and pet her as I did the same. A feeling of fear hitting me again, and this thought of, if you go out of your room, it will not end well. About an hour till they stopped, and I asked my parents if they had been up or heard anything the last 2 nights, and just got a confused look and a no. After that night, I cut off my ability since it scared me so bad. I can feel some ghosts, but I can't really see them anymore. My eldest sister believes in ghosts, but the rest of my family really doesn't. It made it hard to deal with these things. If anybody knows what those footsteps could have been, please tell me. I'd love to hear theories or ideas. Mine are demons or shadows, people, but I have no clue. Thank you so much for listening to these stories. Hi, I don't recount this tale very often because it still terrifies me to think about. I had just recently graduated from high school, and when I was around 18 or 19 years old, my sister and I decided we wanted to do something special for that Halloween. So for the first time in our lives, we decided to go on a ghost tour in the Gettysburg Battlefield. We had lived near Gettysburg all of our lives, and other than school field trips, we never went to the battlefield. Our interest in going was severely lacking due to all the field trips and oversaturation that we experienced in high school. Now, I feel it is important to say up until this point, I never really believed in the supernatural. I thought anything ghost related was just a full of shit and made for a fun story. My sister, on the other hand, she believed. So the first part of our tour started off in this little bed and breakfast, where my older sister had an interaction with the spirit of a child. Upon entering the basement, I clocked a table full of children's toys. I thought this was odd, and wondered why they were there. However, I did not ask any questions. We just took a seat and waited for the tour guide to start telling their tale. According to the guide, this basement was home to a harmless spirit of a little boy that died during the Battle of Gettysburg. As they continued to tell their story, my sister screamed and yelled that someone was pulling her hair. Our guides just laughed and told her not to worry, but the little boy was drawn to teachers and new mothers. She was both, so this made sense that he was drawn to her. After they finished, we were exiting the basement, and the tour guides just stopped us. My sister asked what, and the guides asked her to turn out her pockets. Now, note, they did not think we stole anything. However, the little boy decided to leave her a gift. In her pocket was a little toy red car. One of the toys that, if you remember, I clocked setting on the table full of toys. It was no longer there. My sister emptied out her pockets, and sure enough, it was in her pocket. So she just gave it back. We thanked the little boy for the gift, but told him we'd rather him have it. And then we left. Now, the second part of this story is a lot more frightening, and it is involving myself and another, well, let's just say, less friendly spirit. So we proceeded out onto the battlefield, and our tour guide gave us the history of the battle, who died here, etc. But I noticed that there was a path that was clearly marked, do not use. I asked why that area said do not enter. The tour guide said that that area is off limits due to a Confederate soldier that has claimed that area as his territory. Being young and dumb, I asked if I could go in, and our tour guide said yes, I could, but she did not advise it. Despite her warning, I entered the wooded area. I immediately felt a shift in energy, and my body wanted me to turn around. However, I did not do this. As I was about 10 feet in, I heard my tour guide yell back, "Do not cross the fallen tree." I'll do whatever I want, I muttered to myself, and I continued on. For about maybe 5-10 minutes, and I got to the fallen tree. The second I put my foot on there, everything changed. The woods went silent. All insects, birds, anything that was making noise, nothing was there. Except for the footsteps of a horse. I heard the neigh, and then it stopped. The next thing you know, I hear this packing noise. I click, and a loud bang. I see a muzzle flash, and I feel something whiz by my head. The second this happened, whatever trance I was in was broke. I turned around, I noped the fuck out of there, and I didn't look back. I ran faster than I knew I was capable of. Being shot at by a ghost is something I never want to experience again. Ever since that night, I've had several encounters, including the shadow person I talked about earlier, many different spirits on my land, including full-body apparitions of Confederate and Union soldiers. But nothing ever as scary as this one, or the time I encountered that demon. Thank you for listening. Tonight's stories were true paranormal stories, featuring stories from Creepy Clown Girl and 242 Reads. They are both talented authors and narrators. Their links will be in the description below. Please check them out. If you'd like to walk around representing my realm and gaining me new travelers, the links will be in the description below. As always, I would like to say a special thank you to my lovely Patreons. 242 Reads, Pam, Seraphine the Midnight Bard, Creepy Clown Girl, Mia Mina, Philia Noctis, Hair Raising Narratives, and Spooky Boo Scary Story Time. If you'd like to join the lovely travelers by the light of my fire, the links will be in the description below. The support is always appreciated but never expected. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ding that bell if you're new, because it will really help push this video out to the algorithm and help the channel grow.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.